Hello, friends. So many of us have teen students. Many of us see teenagers as our client base, sometimes most of our client base, or even all of our client base, because improving your singing is easier when you're a teenager. Why? Because your parents are paying for it. Well, your parents are probably paying for it, and you have more time than you ever will again. You don't know that. You think you're busy, but you actually have time. And you have an enthusiastic audience of thousands cheering for you, fans waiting for you in your living room or bedroom, in your bedroom, in your bathroom mirror. Yeah, that's actually a thing. That wasn't just you who did that when you were a teenager. That's a normal thing. It's called adolescent egocentrism. Adolescent egocentrism. And it's that thing that teenagers do where they imagine that all the world is paying attention to what they do. Developmentally normal. Mostly everybody does it. But hi, Rita. That is funny, isn't it, Rita? It's a thing. It wasn't just you. So if you have even if you've seen even a dozen teen students in your life, as opposed to Rita, who's seen hundreds maybe, in your career, I am sure you've noticed a couple of very common vocal things that show up for them, that they do. The first is that big, loud belt, the rock voice, the shouting. Sometimes it's just shouting. And, because they do that thing because they're comparing themselves with older singers who are much more experienced, singers who are older than them, and they're trying to make this sound that they think they're hearing from these older, more experienced singers. So they're trying to emulate who they love, just as you and I did when we were young. And then the second is that Jill goes, "Oh, yes." Jill's like, "Yes, that's a thing." And then the other thing is that breathy sound that they make in the higher range. This breathy thing, it can be the result of a few things or a combination of those few things. So we're going to take a look at that because it's not always like the shouty thing. It's not always based on beliefs. So I'm going to give you a couple of tools today to address both of those things to help your clients with that. And nothing's 100% certain, right? So, these things will be worth trying with your people and seeing who they work for, right? These are really handy tools for most people, the things we're going to go over today. So, I am Meredith Colby. I'm going to introduce myself real quick before we get to the topic. I am the author of Money Notes, How to Sing High, Loud, Healthy, and Forever. I am slowly but surely working on the second edition of that. I am a voice coach. I am a teacher trainer. I train voice teachers and coaches to teach this systematic way that I have created of teaching popular styles, which is called Neuro-Vocal method, or Neuro-Vocal for popular styles, which is, which side? There it is, right there. All my information can be found at neuro-vocal.com. So I am also available for private coaching for professional singers, for voice teachers and coaches, as well as adults who are aspiring singers. So if you want more information about working with me, with moi, Meredith, you can go to neuro-vocal.com for more information. Yes, I bought that URL because I used to have just my name, but nobody can spell it. So today my freebie is a 50% off coupon, promo code, for my High Rock Belt workshop, which is on the Teachable platform. So, darn it, I didn't. Okay, well, I didn't make a thing for the address of that, so maybe I'll put it in the comments. On YouTube, it will definitely be in the description below, but it's Money Notes, like my book, .teachable.com. And if you put NVM for Neuro-Vocal Method in the promo code spot, you will get 50% off that self-paced class. It's a class. It's a workshop. It's about 70 minutes long with demonstrations and explanations and some fun videos. And it's to help you sort of get the hang of teaching that high rock belt sound to the people that come to you who want popular styles, which, if you are an independent voice teacher, is pretty much everybody. Either everybody or pretty much everybody. So if you are appreciating me showing up here today and putting on makeup for you, like, share, follow, all the things, the currency of social media. Any hearts, thumbs, comments you give me are super helpful to me, and I appreciate it. Thank you. So, all of that. Now, let's thank you. And there's a couple of hearts and thumbs. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now, let's start with the breathy thing. Okay. So there are three sort of categories of this breathiness. One is developmental. And we all know, if we have ever had a client who's sort of in the 10-11 range, who is estrogen influenced voice, we know that they will just go through a phase where the voice is a little bit is changing fairly quickly, and so developmentally they have this breathier sound. That also has to do with, more or less, depending on the age of the client and the client themselves, hormones. So we have hormone receptors on our vocal folds, and when those estrogen levels are surging, or those testosterone or androgen, I'm just going to say androgen levels are surging, it affects the way we sound. In the case of the estrogen influenced voice, it tends to manifest as edema. And edema means there's a swelling of the tissue. It means the vocal folds can't come together nice and clean. And so the sound is a little bit breathy, because we can't have that full adduction because of the edema. So, and that also can happen sort of you've heard it, or you've experienced it yourself maybe, the day before and the first day of your period. You're going to have that. A lot of people have that as well. And so that's a thing. And the breathiness in those instances, the developmental and the hormonally influenced larynx, we just have to wait it out. We just have to be sort of gentle and nice with ourselves and wait it out. Do our best with what we have in the moment. The other thing, the thing that we really can address, is the beliefs of the student. And we have seen this, right? Now, I'm just going to tell you what I have reflected at my clients of this age, and they have told me that this is right, or this is how they perceive it. And that is that if they're this belty person who has the airy upper range, I mean, even, right, we have those clients who will stay in their M1 in their chest register, and at that B flat, B natural, when they can't do it anymore, they will literally choose to sing the wrong pitch rather than switch into their M2. Anybody? Show of hands. It's the most, you're just listening to them going, oh, Lord. And this is why some other adult in their life who isn't informed and experienced and kind like you, show of thumbs, another adult in their life may have shamed them about that. And Rita's like, oh yeah, we have heard that happen. So another adult in their life may have shamed them about that and said, there's something wrong with your singing, or you're tone deaf, or something like that. But that's not what's going on at all. What's actually going on is that the singer identifies with their M1. So I'm just going to call it M1 and M2 for the sake of our discussion here. If you use different terms, fine, I don't care. But M1, chest register, CT dominant register, is that right? No. TA dominant register, sorry. Don't wait for the neurons to fire. And then M2, head register, CT dominant register. Okay, so I'm just going to call them M1 and M2. Now, so your client your teenager who has this identity with their M1, that's my real voice. They feel like that's their real voice, and that their M2 is a fake voice. And that not only do they, the voice owner, perceive that voice as a fake voice, but so does everybody else. Everyone else thinks they have a fake voice. And so they would literally rather sing the wrong pitch than be fake, or be perceived as fake, or having their singing be perceived as fake. So when we are wanting to address the the head register situation or the M2 situation that's very breathy. This is my belief, you guys, you can feel free to disagree with me, but I believe we need to meet them at their beliefs. We need to say to them, I get it, man. I've been there. I mean, even if you haven't, just say you have. But just like, I get it. There's a part of your voice that feels like the real you and a part that really feels like it's not you. And then in your own magical way, help them understand that that other functionality of their voice is, in fact, also them, in whatever great way you have of doing that. Because if they have permission, maybe you can play them people who use their, ways that certain singers that they love use that M2 registration. You could do that. I mean, like I said, do it in your magical way, but just help them understand that that is part of the whole package in a way that says, I get it. Like, I've seen this before. You're not alone, because teenagers need to know they're not alone. Anyway, so there's that. Now, once you have them understanding that a little bit, maybe you've tricked them into those notes with some lip trills or a little straw phonation. And so now you've kind of got them up there sort of accessing that range without actually holding a vowel sound. You can use this exercise that I always have, pretty much always. Once in a great while, there's somebody who this does not work well for, but pretty much everybody. In my book, I call it the Disney chipmunk, but now these days I'm calling it the cartoon mouse voice, because not every continent has chipmunks, really, only North America. And so I call it the cartoon mouse, and that is, ask your student to pretend to be like Alvin and the Chipmunks. And you may have something that's like this, but sustaining that, so Alvin, that thing, and getting them to do that, right? And feeling that. So that, making that fakey sound of the cartoon mouse will help them get that nice, clean adduction that you want to hear up there. And if they can do that a few times, then you can ask them to coordinate that down. So you might say, nee. You might do that and just have them like stay in mouse voice. You can just say like, I don't care how quiet you need to be. You might, nee. You can be very quiet and very small and stay in the mouse voice. When I'm doing this with teenage students, I talk to them like this so that they don't get too self-conscious, because we can be silly together. So that mouse voice thing is really, really, really helpful. Was there anything else that I wanted to? Oh, if they can't do all 5 pitches, which they may not be able to, especially at the beginning, because you're asking them to stay connected so that coordination can occur. So you may just do mi, re, do. You might do that. Now, if you do that, you're probably only going to get them to be able to coordinate down to the like E4 or E flat 4, but that's okay. Especially when they're first getting the hang of it, it's fine. The idea is address the breathiness, right? So then once they have the hang of that, then when they're singing one of their songs, you can help them. What's a song? I should have had a song up my sleeve. Okay, so what's leaping into my head is Stevie Wonder. So you can help them, instead of, and though you don't believe that you can say, hey, why don't you, when you get to that word believe, why don't you look for that kind of that cartoon mouse thing and see if you can get a little bit more of that sound if you deal with sound, or feeling if you deal with feeling, and then have them reach for that on that particular part of the phrase. And though you don't believe that they do, and then they'll begin to hear leave is not the same as Alvin, but it helps them have a choice. They might want to say leave that they do. They might want to do that, but they might not. They might want to be a little cleaner. Leave that they do. So you have them reach for that same whatever it was that you were using, feeling or sound. So that's one of the things. And then the shouty thing. Let's talk about the shouty thing. Let's talk about the shouty thing. Okay. Oh. Jill has a good suggestion. I'm going to throw this up there. So Jill says, As It Was by Harry Styles is a good example of this. Okay, I cannot pull that up in my head right now, but I'm going to listen afterward, Jill. That's great. Thank you. It's because exactly, it's good to have examples up your sleeve so that you can pull them out. All the teenagers love Harry Styles, pretty much. All the kids love him. So if you can say, look, here's somebody that we love and he's doing it. Mwah, perfect, right? So now the shouty thing. Why do they do it? They do it because they don't know how to listen yet. When they are listening to the singers that they love, they are perceiving that that singer has a powerful sound everywhere in her range. I'm going to say her because am I right? This is mostly your estrogen influenced voices who are doing this. And so they are perceiving that this person has, thank you for the thumbs up, they're perceiving that the person has a big strong voice up high because they have not yet learned to discern the change in timbre that an experienced singer is going to be expressing as they move through their range. They can't hear it. You can hear it. They can't hear it. And so because they can't hear it, they're trying to reproduce something that does not exist in nature. And that's really the thing. So I believe that we can help them by helping them learn how to both feel it in their own bodies or feel/hear. I'm trying to deal with both modalities here. Feel or hear this in their own bodies. And as in doing that, increase their ability to hear it in other singers, which will give them permission to allow for those necessary physiological changes that have to occur if you're going to coordinate your M1 dominant sound, because it changes, right? Up into past like B flat. So the way that we're going to raise their awareness of this is by either humming or using a nice bright E sound. So what I'm going to suggest to you today is that you start with a hum. Now you can just do a regular You can ask them to separate their teeth a little bit inside their mouth. So if you try that right now as you're listening to me, you may notice an increase in sensation between the and So for a lot of people, there's an increase in sensation. Sometimes also you can use what I call cat tongue, which is sticking your tongue a little bit past your lips like cats do sometimes. Like that. So in any event, some kind of humming, and then ask them to hum do, re, do. That's it. And then kind of walk up, pass in, boop, 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 boop. The objective for this client, this student, this singer, the objective for them is to be aware. Literally, you guys, that is all. That's all you're asking them to do because it's not hard to hum. You're not going to take them into a really high range. You're just going to ask them to be aware. This is going to make their brain behave differently. It's going to shift their attention. So attention and learning Attention is a huge part of learning. So we're going to shift their attention and bring their attention to how does this feel to me or how does this sound to me? What are the changes I'm experiencing either sonically or interoceptively? What are the changes I'm experiencing as I go, next one, next one, as you walk them through their range, hopefully they will notice some changes. If they don't notice any changes this week, fine. Go, okay, good, we're done. Next week, try it with a major third. As they go higher, it becomes more exaggerated. They're going to notice. They're going to notice that sonically and or sensory feeling, though it feels to them, is going to change. And so what you're doing with this basic physics plus physiology is you're showing them that this is what's happening in the singers they love too. Meghan Trainor is not trying to bring or Harry Styles is not trying to bring his high notes into that same rich, fat sound and feeling that is in their low notes. That's it's just not happening. And so your client, your student becomes aware that this is what's happening, and they start to hear it in the other singers. They give themselves permission to do that. So again, it's not really a voice exercise so much as it is an awareness and a listening exercise that helps them do that. Now, if the humming is too small for them, because for some people that's too small of a feeling, you can try an open vowel, like a bright E sound, he, kind of sliding back and forth. And that will allow them to both hear and feel what's happening. So there we go. Those are my suggestions for you. I would love to hear back if anybody. Oh, Sheena's here. Oh, there we go. Sheena wisely says, meeting them where they are makes so much sense. Meet them where they are and move them forward. Absolutely. And so I want to offer one more time before I leave. Anybody who has not taken my High Rock Belt class on the Teachable class. Hi, Sheena. On the Teachable platform. This is a self-paced course. It's about 70 minutes long. If you go to moneynotes.teachable.com, which I did not make a sign for, I'm sorry about that, you will find this How to Teach High Rock Belt. And if you use NVM, you will get 50% off of the already low price. So I hope that is helpful to anybody who sees this and needs that from me today. I live to serve, y'all. So have a great week. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what happens, and teach on, y'all. Bye.